Alrighty guys, this episode we're talking about palm spins. So palm spin or wall spin or their variations is, I think like it's a good beginner technique, but there's some opportunity there to make it more difficult.
I would suggest we do a palm spin so that people would know it.
Alright, the palm spin. It is a good technique for beginners because it can be done very, very simply, right? Like,
like low risk.
Low risk, unless you have like zero shoulder strength.
In terms of like the first trick you learn, this one is very high up there. If it's not like number one for like first show off trick, maybe it's like number two. But this is the one that like, dude, I can pull this one out anywhere. Like I remember doing this one at stoplights, like with that Chinese fire drill, you know,
on the hood.
On the hoods of other people's cars. This was one when we first did a workshop with Navy SEALs, a special forces group, and they needed to learn one fancy trick to show off to their like other like military guys. But it's also cool because you can do it on like any edge, or even when you don't have an edge, when
on
it's
a wall,
on a vertical wall, right? So
right.
you do it on your buddy's back.
Oh, look, I was gonna get you.
Oh, Jesse!
You got watch your head. Go.
Yeah, twerk him up.
That's a solid lumbar. You need a good lumbar for the palm spin. So if you guys are all like anterior chain dominant, you got a friend who's like, who jumps like this, he's not good to do the booty palm spin on. You need somebody with that thoracic.
When done right, it looks super cool.
Yeah.
Right, but it's so easy to do that, like, I mean, any high-level athlete could learn a palm spin in like 3 attempts.
They should
right?
just be able to see it.
So it's like sometimes they're just, if they've never learned the palm spin, it's really they just never tried it. And if they try it, they'll be like, oh yeah, I can do that. It's like in dance, these are your like, I forgot my set, so I'm just gonna go back to my like what I, you know, my fundamentals, so that I can find the beat again and then come back to it. This palm spin's a perfect one for that.
Yeah.
Like if you land wrong, it's the recovery cartwheel and tricking, right? If you land wrong and you're like, oh, I gotta keep the combo going, no. You throw in a recovery cartwheel. The palm spin is kind of like the parkour equivalent of that.
Yeah. Justin's ambidextrous tricking and style. So you got B-twist 540 on both sides.
Yeah.
Which is that's a very unique trait. And this is actually one that I think you probably should learn on both sides.
You need on both.
Because you can do a directional change either way too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of value in the palm spin, so let's get to coming up with some lines and then show you guys what we come up with. With my dad, he makes me and I said, oh, fingers are hot.
I'm gonna do 4 different wall spin variations, all on 4 different walls.
Quick swag.
Move that!
Alright, so let's break it down. Justin, you threw a lot of spins
Yes,
in.
I wall spin spammed. All right, normal wall spin there was on my bad side. Then I had a palm spin swing through on there, which is not my specialty. Swinging through out of stuff has always been a really hard battle for me. And this is all left, so that's left, that's left. My helicopteros, I can do it on left too, but like right here, this setup, it needed to be a right side one, so I had to spend some time like undoing all the wound up I just did, and then change direction on the helicoptero. So, but yeah,
I feel like sometimes that's harder.
It
like
is hard.
going like for me going left, 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 then deciding to go right.
Yeah.
I've had some people, students of mine suggest that there's some sort of like vestibular yarn that if you go one way, you can go the other way and unwind it. But
Like
that's
a yo-yo.
that's just not been my experience. If I go one way, go the other way, I'm actually dizzier.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it may work that way a little bit. And but I really like that transition, that little swingy transition. Were you doing a 540 or was it like a just a
I
little
don't think
swing?
it counts as 540 because it's off the other leg and it goes here. So it's more
Oh.
like kick the moon technique.
Something simple. Like I still basically did Justin's wall spin, even though this is a little bit of a slant, but I wanted to show it jumping. And I've seen people jump gaps and do those before, so I was like, I kind of want to try it out. I want to try out getting one with some distance, or there's really not distance, but height rather. I just like to kick, so I kick some stuff.
Yeah, you gotta add a kick every once line. I
Once-
think that's just
At this point, it's uncharacteristic. It's an incomplete sentence.
I always find it hard to do wall spins where there's a drop like this.
yeah.
Actually, well, the wall spin itself I don't have an issue with. It's transitioning that combo when you do a wall spin into a drop, because it doesn't really carry momentum anywhere else,
There
right?
isn't.
Like if you land and the ground's close, you can swing the leg, you can roll backwards, you can dive out, right? Or you can push off the wall to like give you a little bit of like lateral movement so that your line can travel that way. But when you drop, it's like all of your momentum that you gained here in rotation just falls into the ground.
Yeah, and
So I
found-
liked your like land and then come back to the wall because it's the nearest object, right?
and it was hard to convert down into a round or back up again.
Yep.
Is what I was running into. So when I was here, I needed something that I could just step once and be able to do, and that's just the kicks for me are easy to do that. Yeah, it was fun though. That's what I will say is like we were doing a couple takes.
Even though our 4 takes or 5, how many did we do? 5? 4.
4 or
5 for fun.
I think we did 4. One was our practice, 4 was our official. But yeah, it was like, it's fun, right? That's how you know you got a good line. It's when you're not like, oh my God, I got to do it again. Which you are always like that.
Yeah.
But when it's more like, all right, let's do it again.
Yeah.
You're like, I enjoy doing it. I think I can do it better, but I'm a little exhausted.
If it's like a combo like we did and you have a move at the end where it's like, all right, well, I don't know how I'm going to land it if it's 50-50. That needs to just be a single move entrance into a consecutive line like we did. Because we had this same problem when we were doing the 2012 Apex Pro Team reel, and we each had one move, but they were huge moves. And that's the intro clip where I had Kong Gainer, then Jake had a really big front flip clear, and then Dylan had this like gigantic 15-foot drop pre, and Amos had the Kong pre to the car. It was all one move, and we were all hesitant to do it again. Like no one wanted to do their move, but we all had to do it once in a row, or one time, one after the other. So yeah, it's fun when I look back on it like that, when it was just like, I just have this one move, I gotta do it right. And then if I got it right, when other people messed up, like I was really forgiving because it was like, I had already done my, my mistakes.
But there's like a couple of clips of Justin slipping on the grass, right? When you finish the Kong, or you go into the wall back handspring to the worm, and you slip, and he's like, God. And it's like, it's fun because it's so true, right? When you have a high level line like that, sometimes there are just so many factors, like other people, or the grass, or the light in your eye, that you just can't handle it, so you just gotta like work through it. And it's fun to kind of share the like frustration journey, because everybody gets the Instagram highlights of all these high level athletes, and it's just pure, crisp, clean movement, right?
Yeah.
Because that's their 100th take of that line. But we don't get to see the 99 where they slip or bail, or a dog walks in the way, or somebody interrupts them, or something like that.
I agree. I think that something like this is really fun if you're training with a group of friends or even in classes. I think that, versus making everyone come up with a line individually too, like combining, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, I'm gonna do this. Keep it simple, drill it, and that can be a form of accountability. Because I don't have any problem like coming in and taking a technique and just coming up with a little line that's sort of like is flexible. I can change it. That's how I get my volume in for the most part when I'm doing lower impact stuff. Is I'll come in with an idea, I'll tweak it. We knew we were going to do palm spin variations today, and I had an idea for it, and I came in, it just wasn't clicking, so I just bailed on it.
Justin's pretty good about like isolating himself to an area and coming up with a line. That's not me at all. Like I've got to walk through the facility, throw a couple flips here, do a thing here, and then I'll start building a line, and then I'm like, nah, I don't like it. And I just walk to a whole other area. Poor Colin here has to like follow me around. He's like, is this where your line is? And I'm like, maybe. I don't know yet.
Generally, I was never the one that was making the like huge move or dictating where we were filming. And so a lot of times I was filling in the gaps between other lines and bridging off of other people. So, and sometimes that's easy. Like if you're filming in a group and you feel pressure to come up with a line that's super impressive, oftentimes it's better just to piggyback on one of your friends, add a little bit of spice to their line, but really share the spotlight with them and take it off yourself a little bit.
Because sometimes if you are someone who does have something, you're very focused, you're trying to combine, your move in and it's big, you get that feeling like, okay, like, I just need everyone else not to need to have me do this again.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I mean, if you're really going for a clean take. But I think ideal scenario for at least training in this way, because, you know, in parkour, we really don't train in the way where it's like, you know, CrossFit or a fitness boot camp where it's like someone comes in, they're going to write the reps on there.
No.
I mean, I'm not talking about like some strength specific training. I'm talking about like when you're actually doing parkour, it's more organic. And so to be able to just be like, okay, guys, we're gonna take the intensity down and increase the volume. We're gonna go into this knowing, hey, you know, we may change a thing or two, but we're gonna do, you know, 5 to 50 lines. That was one of the first things I realized was like, I had this thing like, I've got a technique that I want to see and get it recorded, and once it's recorded, it's done. I've captured it. I've check, right? But the journey is the goal, right? And so I had to learn that because we would shoot long lines outside in heat 20, 30 times until we found the one that was, or the line matured. Jesse's very intimate with the environment right now as a key example of his like post line love for the for the vault boxes.
There's only one way to get familiar with the obstacles. That's to get familiar with the obstacles. Anyways, great session, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We had an awesome time training. We hope you guys learned some tips. And of course, this session is mostly for us just having fun. But if you can benefit from some tips and guidance, that's awesome too. So thanks for tuning in. Catch us next week. We will do an audio format one that'll be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and other major platforms. So check it out.